Shantim Chetasi Shastra Shilana Param Shilam Suhrit Snigdhatam Divyam Nitya Paropakar Paratam Swabhavikim Namratam Achare Shuchitam Vachas Sumridutam Vrittauch Nirvyajatam Ekasmin Yadi Vanchasi Priya Sakhe Satyavrato Drishyatam. Peace in mind, habit of pursuing Shastras, affection for friends, unique urge to do good to others, always, the inborn humility, purity in conduct, softness in speech, uprightness in behavior. If you have the mind to see all this in one, just have a look at Satyavrat. This verse by Dr. Devi Prasad Kharvandikar, the editor of the well-known Sanskrit magazine Gunjaravaha of Ahmednagar, sums up the personality of Professor Satyavrat Shastri. The great Sanskrit grammarian, scholar and poet. In the world of Sanskrit, Professor Satyavrat Shastri's name requires no introduction. Only a few Sanskrit scholars in the past or the present have such fame, love, affection and distinction across the globe. Over 90 national and international awards and honors decorate the shelves at his home in New Delhi. He was presented the Sahitya Akademi Award in Sanskrit by the President of India, Dr. Zakir Hussain, in 1968. He was elected unanimously Fellow of the Sahitya Akademi in 2013. The same year, he was conferred the fellowship by Professor Vishwanath Prasad Tiwari, President of the Academy.
सत्यव्रत शास्त्री जी ने जो संस्कृत के आचार्यों और विद्वानों की प्राचीन परंपरा है, उस परंपरा में काम किया है। बड़ा मुश्किल होता है कि कोई व्याकरण का आदमी कविता लिखे, पर व्याकरण और काव्य दोनों को शास्त्री जी ने मिला दिया है। उन्होंने कविताएं भी लिखी हैं और आलोचना भी लिखी है। इन दोनों क्षेत्रों में उनका महत्वपूर्ण योगदान है।
Satyavrat Shastri is not only a great scholar in India, he is equally a great scholar in Thailand and many other countries. There is not a single seat in this world where Sanskrit department is there and where he has not taught. He got Sahitya Akademi Award at very early age. That time he was hardly 36 or 37 years. Recently, a few months back when I was in Thailand, I met many Thai scholars. Everybody knows him as their own citizen. There is no replacement for him. He is an icon.
He also received Lifetime Achievement Award from the Purbanchal Academy of Oriental Studies, Kolkata, as well as honor from the government of Maharashtra. He was conferred the Gyan Peeth Award, the highest literary award of India, for his contribution to the enrichment of Sanskrit language and literature. He is the first literary figure to receive this award in Sanskrit. The award was presented by Her Royal Highness Maha Chakri Sirinthorn, the Princess of Thailand.
Dr. Satyavrat Shastri is a very remarkable person. I think among the people living today, he is probably the greatest Sanskrit scholar. Dr. Satyavrat Shastri has written creative literature, Mahakavyas, Khandakavyas, poetry, all sorts of genres he's written in Sanskrit. And he has been a great teacher of Sanskrit.
Professor Satyavrat Shastri was born on 29 September 1930. Besides primary schooling, he received his early education in Sanskrit from his father, Sri Charudeva Shastri, who was himself a renowned Sanskrit scholar of his time.
Mr. Shastri, can you tell us the innate secrets of grammar?
My father was a grammarian of repute. He was affectionately called as the Abhinava Panini, the modern Panini. Panini is the most celebrated of Sanskrit grammarians of India, and he had mastered his grammar. He would make me recite the sutras, aphorisms of Panini, would explain them to me, and the words that would be formed with the process that Panini had indicated. Everything he had taught me when I was very young.
Later, he was taught by another great master of Sanskrit grammar, Pandit Shukdev Jha, at the pilgrim city of Varanasi. In that very city, he had the opportunity of learning the secrets of the most abstruse of the grammatico-philosophical texts of Sanskrit, the Vakyapadiya, from another master, Pandit Raghunath Sharma Pandey. Professor Satya Vrat Shastri comes of a family, the only one in the whole of India, where both the father and the son are the recipients of the President of India Certificate of Honour, the Shiromani Sanskrit Sahityakar Award from the Government of Punjab, and the Vishisht Sanskrit Sahitya Puraskar from the Uttar Pradesh Sanskrit Academy. In his own words, being the son of a master grammarian of Sanskrit, affectionately called Abhinav Panini, I was introduced to the most intimate secrets of Sanskrit grammar at a very young age. At the age of 12, he wrote his first work in Sanskrit, a 15-stanza poem in 14 meters, some of them highly complex, with the nomenclature of some of them agreeing with the theme of the verses where they were used. Noticing it, a journalist had remarked, the poem had more meters than the author had years to his age.
Ramye ranye sapramadam kamam atanto mandradhvanan vikshpayodan diviramyan nartam nartam charukalapa mudamaptaha roruyante mattamayura aviramam.
Professor Shastri, your first poem, Shadritu Varnam. Sir, what inspired you to write this poem?
It's very difficult to say because I was too young at that time to be in the process of thinking for composing something. The poem came out of me of itself. I would attribute it, to the impressions of the previous birth, the Purva Dharma Sanskara, as we call it, because some of the meters used in the poem are very complex. One of them is the meter which has the modulation changed with every line. Now, this is very unusual, even for a person of advanced age.
Sanskrit runs in his blood. That is why, whenever somebody speaks about Sanskrit as archaic or outdated, his first reaction is to educate him about its value and utility, and the great treasure of knowledge that it embodies.
First time in the history of the country, the Jnanpith Award was given to a Sanskrit scholar, and that is my brother Dr. Satya Shastri.
In his home, Professor Shastri very often converses with his wife in Sanskrit. His wife, Srimati Usha, is herself a famous Sanskrit scholar. She got the President of India Certificate of Honour in 2002.
My husband, Professor Satya Shastri, loves people. He perfectly follows the Sanskrit saying, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It means that the whole earth is one home. He loves good food, simple food. Sweets are his favorite.
Highlighting the importance of Sanskrit language, Professor Shastri says, not only do Indo-Aryan languages derive from Sanskrit, the Dravidian languages also have a large content of it. Not only that, the languages of Southeast Asia, like Cambodian, Thai, Lao and Malay, have also a large corpus of words of it. Being the product of both the traditional system of Sanskrit education and its modern counterpart, he in a way had the best of both the worlds. He learned the intricacies of ancient and modern Sanskrit from some of the leading exponents and scholars of Sanskrit language, as well as formal and modern education up to the university level. Professor Shastri had an exceptional academic career. He received record marks in BA Honours examination in Sanskrit. He also stood first class first in MA in Sanskrit from the Punjab University and won university medals. After doing his PhD at the Banaras Hindu University, he joined the University of Delhi, where he served for 40 years with unique devotion, for which he got from the university the Distinguished Service Award. During the 40 years of his teaching career, there he held important positions as the head of the Department of Sanskrit Language and the Dean of the Faculty of Arts, University of Delhi. Later, he became the Vice Chancellor of Sri Jagannath Sanskrit University, Puri, Odisha, a unique personality. He has the distinction of having been visiting professor in 6 universities on 3 continents. Among his many interests, one is visiting different countries and meeting scholars there.
My childhood with my father was full of memories, surrounded around work, education, books. He's very passionate about work. The longer he works and the deeper he probes, the happier he becomes. And the happier he is, the healthier he will remain. And the more healthy he is, the longer he will live.
हर बेटी पिता को प्यारी होती है, लेकिन मेरे को मेरे पिताजी बहुत प्यारे हैं। मैं पढ़ाई में बिल्कुल सामान्य थी, पर मेरे पिताजी की ये इच्छा थी कि मैं बहुत ज़्यादा पढूं। पता नहीं, शायद उनकी इच्छा पूरी करने के लिए भगवान ने मुझे शक्ति दी कि मैं आज इतना पढ़ पाई और एक अच्छी जगह पर प्राध्यापिका बन पाई। उसका सारा श्रेय मैं अपने पिताजी को देती हूँ।
महासायक चारु चापम नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथं नमामि रामं।
He has attended and chaired a number of national and international conferences and seminars and delivered hundreds of lectures in universities in Europe, North America, Southeast Asia and the Far East.
The memories that I have of Papa, the early years and now, is that he would only work and research and study and write. For the rest of the family, it was a great inspiration. That was a way of life for everybody. So I also got into the same mold. He's very fond of having people over, but for very short durations of time. Most of his time goes for his work.
Since childhood, I've been so inspired by my grandfather. He's always taught me a lot of shlokas. He's one of the inspirations why I took Sanskrit in class 9 and 10 and managed to get very good marks. First person I came to was my grandfather. I showed him my marks.
He has written 3 Mahakavyas in Sanskrit. They are of about 1,000 stanzas each and have become subjects for research for the PhD and D.Litt degrees in many Indian universities. He has also written 3 Khanda Kavyas, 1 Prabandha Kavya and 1 Patra Kavya in 2 volumes and more than 20 works in critical writing in Sanskrit. His most important works are Ramakirti Mahakavyam, Brihattaram Bharatam, Shri Bodhi Sattva Charitam, Sharmanya Deshaha, Sutaram Vibhati, The Ramayana, a linguistic study, Studies in Sanskrit and Indian culture in Thailand, and discovery of Sanskrit treasures in 7 volumes. His commitment to the secular values and national integration can be gauged from such works of his as Contribution of Muslims to Sanskrit and Modern Christian Literature in Sanskrit. He has written many great poetic works in Sanskrit. One of the most important ones among them is his rendition of the Thai version of the Ramayana into Sanskrit titled Sri Ramakirti Mahakavyam. The work has already been translated in 6 Indian languages: Tamil, Assamese, Telugu, Kannada, Gujarati and Hindi.
Dr. Shastri has been a bridge between India and Thailand, not only in terms of language but also people-to-people exchanges, because he was one of the few professors who was here in the 70s and again through the 80s and 90s. Of course, Princess Sirindhorn used to be a student of his. His latest works, of course, are based on the Thai inscriptions. The concept of human values, which is very important to Thai people, has further cemented these ties. He's accompanied his teachings along with his creative writing and also reinterpretation of the old texts, which means a lot of hard work, because it's not easy to do all that. Spend a lot of energy and time, often at the cost of his own health.
Of all the places in the world, Thailand has a very special place in his heart. He has spent a considerable period of his amazing scholarly career there and has written a number of books, both in prose and poetry, on different aspects of Thai culture. On September 27, 2013, 2 of his books were released in Bangkok by Her Royal Highness Mahachakri Sirindhorn, Princess of Thailand.
Professor Satya Shastri was the Sanskrit teacher to our princess. We have this tradition of respecting all our teachers, and Her Royal Highness has no less that feeling towards Professor throughout his life. He had dedicated himself.
A day after that, on September 28, 2013, a seminar on his life and works were held at the Indian Culture Center, where 18 scholars, both from India and Thailand, participated. His current research projects are the Sanskrit inscriptions and Hindu temples of Thailand, Kalidasa studies, and the Rama story in Southeast Asia. In his pursuit of knowledge, he has embraced people of all religions and creeds: Hindus, Muslims, Jains, Sikhs, Christians, and Buddhists, etc. For a long time, he was the president of Genealogical Research Society of India. His famous Sanskrit Mahakavya, epic poem Sri Bodhisattva Charitam, is based on the theme of the Buddhist Jatakas.
Sir, your work, Contribution of Muslims to Sanskrit, Christian literature in Sanskrit, you have done a lot. What made you do this, sir?
I wanted to dispel the notion, that Sanskrit is confined only to a particular community or a particular group of the people in that community. Christians have contributed, very significantly. So have the Muslims,
He has composed the first ever biography of Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Sikh Guru, in Sanskrit verse. It is this biographical work that won him the Sahitya Academy Award in 1968 at the age of 37.
Satya Shastriji's life and works is something worth emulating. He is doing a project on Sanskrit inscriptions in Thailand. At this stage of life, at this age, he is going around collecting inscriptions, transcribing them. One is really astonished by his energy.
Dilli Nagarya Mahaniya Murtit, विपश्चितां प्राग्रहरः कवीशः गीर्वाणवाणी परिशोधनायां सत्यव्रतो नित्यरतश्चकास्ति. A great glorious figure in the city of Delhi, a leading scholar and a poet, Satyavrat shines bright as he is ever engaged in his Sanskrit research. These lines of the late Dr. B.R. Shastri are certainly an eloquent tribute to his lifelong dedication to the Sanskrit language.
महोदधिञ्चापि समेधयन्तं भूतानि सर्वाणि विराजयन्तं ददर्श शीतांशुमथाभियान्तम्.
Professor Satyavrat Shastri has received awards and accolades from 3 generations of leaders who include Mrs. Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit, Dr. Zakir Hussain, Srimati Indira Gandhi, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and Srimati Pratibha Patil. In 1999, he was conferred the prestigious Padma Shri Award by the President of India, K.R. Narayanan. Later, he received even the more prestigious Padma Bhushan Award in 2010 from Srimati Pratibha Patil. Professor Shastri has toured extensively, visiting many countries, teaching classes, delivering lectures, meeting scholars and having discussing with them. His experience as a philologist, his sensibility as a poet and a man of letters are exceptional.
Sir, the art of the poetry which you mastered is compared to the poetry of Kalidasa. People call you Kalidasa of modern times. How do you acknowledge your work and this acknowledgement by the people?
I consider myself to be a humble devotee at the shrine of Saraswati. This is how I would like to describe myself. I am always in the process of learning because Jnanam Anantam, knowledge is endless. I feel very much obliged to the people who describe me the way they do. It is their assessment of me. My assessment of my own self is that I am a constant researcher. I am always eager to learn more and more.
Besides this, you have been the royal teacher for the princes of Thailand. How you became the royal teacher?
Destiny willed it that way. I didn't seek it. And I didn't even have the knowledge of it that I would be called upon to teach Her Royal Highness the Princess of Thailand. But it just came. Destiny has many surprises. This is one of those.
Sir, you have been a critic and a creative writer. How do you like to be acknowledged? As a critic or a creative writer?
Both, but more as a creative one. It is the creative faculty which is difficult. The answer to your query has been very well provided by one of our ancient rhetoricians. His name is Bhama. In his Kavyalankar he says, Kavyantu jayate jatu kasachit pratibhavataha. Panditya, that is possible with effort, one can cultivate it, but the creative faculty one cannot cultivate. It is self-born.
He is currently an honorary professor at the Special Center for Sanskrit Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi.
It's been a privilege for me to have known Professor Satyavrat Shastri. His contributions to the field of Sanskrit itself and a lot of literary work which he has done. Immense amount of literature which one person has produced is unthinkable. And we are very privileged that he is associated in JNU with the Center for Sanskrit Studies. To interact with him, you can find out the kind of a personality and the encyclopedia which he is in his own field of studies.
He is also Professor Emeritus at the University of Delhi.
This university has been very fortunate that Professor Satyavrat was a member of the faculty here, a very distinguished member. He stands almost unrivaled in the realm of Sanskrit today. And it isn't just Sanskrit. So if you look at his contributions, They are almost unmatched if you look at any other realm of literature, be it English or Hindi. Professor Satya Vrat seems to stand apart. He has been a pathfinder, he has been someone who has shown us the way, he has been someone who has inspired us, and this university is justifiably very, very proud of him.
He is also Chairman, 2nd Sanskrit Commission, Government of India. Awards and honours continue coming to him, the latest being Sanskrit Gaurav Samman from the All India Sanskrit Sahitya Sammelan, New Delhi, and Vidwat Saparya from Rashtriya Sanskrit Sansthan, New Delhi. Even at the ripe age of 85, his pen moves on. The year 2014, 3 works: Sanskrit Inscriptions of Thailand, Introducing Sanskrit Literature, and Bhavitavyanam Dwarani Bhavanti Sarvatra, an autobiography in Sanskrit, have been published. Though he is equally devoted to all his researches and works, the book on human values seems to be the closest to his heart. He has traced definitions of them from ancient works which had entailed study on his part of hundreds and hundreds of ancient works. He is still deep into many researches in many fields of Sanskrit language. His colorful literary and scholarly journey continues with the same commitment as it had begun with his first poem in Sanskrit at the age of 12.